Decatur, it was another great week for DecaturFC. They have been on the road for their past two matches, and to no one's great surprise, they won both of those matches against UFA Gunners and Georgia Impact. Hello, everybody. It is Five Takes Femenil podcast, our new show where we are covering the women's game at the local grassroots level. My name is Glenn Paisan, and tonight I am joined by a woman who's not afraid to call anyone out. It is Amy Ann Marie. Hello, Amy.
Hello.
And back from her Southeast Asia whirlwind tour, it is a woman who is now 90% dumpling.
Hey, I would say only 80% dumpling and then 10% mee goring and another 10% pandan.
You know her, you love her. It's Jennifer Taylor. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome back.
Hi. Did you miss me? Because I missed me, but I found me in Southeast Asia.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it was an incredible time, and we'll save that recap for when we want to not talk about soccer for the next Five Takes pod when Atlanta United takes on Columbus, and none of us want to talk about that drubbing that's going to ensue. I will be there for that match. God knows why, but I am going
because
up
you're
to
going
Columbus.
to hell in a handbasket, Glenn.
Yep.
I agree. I like my despair with a side of dumplings. So let's.
Well, we come to this pod for joy. And there's plenty of it. Consistently, this team does nothing but provide it. And they have done so once again. Back-to-back road matches, no home match for the past week. They face a little bit of adversity. No problem. No problem. They handle it. They get their business done in close fashion, in emphatic fashion. This team, y'all, is just levels, to borrow a phrase from Roman Reigns, levels above for the WWE fans out there. Levels above with this team. Running out of things to say, because it just feels like every phrase, every adjective you want to use to describe this team is appropriate and not hyperbolic. At this point, we are 6 matches in. So
I think what is kind of amazing though is that you keep the consistency right as the result, but what is even more amazing is the variety of ways in which that result occurs with this team. The number of players that step up, the type of matches that they play in. We've seen them play close. We've seen them dominate early and struggle. We've seen them go down and come back multiple times. It's like there is a inner belief in this team that is palpable regardless of what the game state is.
Yeah, whether you're up 4 goals, down 1 goal, it stays the same.
So in all honesty, the match on Sunday was the first one I actually got to watch and took in the stream and whatever. And I don't know
if one again.
I mean, I'm not sure. First of all, I want to give some mad snaps to Madison Cruz from Soccer Down Here for her.
Yeah, her and Jason did a great job calling the match.
Jason's great on color as he always is, but I was really impressed with Maddie's energy and the accessibility with which she called the game, and literally the knowledge base that she had of all the, she did her homework. And for someone to do their homework for a grassroots WPSL soccer match in the manner that she did, to make it so that you have to do some digging. You have to do a lot of work.
She knows all the players. She knows the school that they're at, probably their favorite dumpling, all of that, and that takes a tremendous amount of care and dedication to treat these women like the professional athletes that they are, to give them that respect and that treatment. And it's really appreciated. She did a phenomenal job, and I appreciate her calls because it's authentic. She's excited.
Yeah.
When Ali Plano hits a banger,
it was great.
It's real.
You don't, and again, there aren't a whole lot of women's voices in the sphere of play-by-play.
Jessica Sharman now calling matches for Apple TV on MLS Season Pass. That's been really cool to see.
Well, I like Kendra St. Aubin.
Snaps to the whole Soccer Down Here team for elevating those voices, for going out and seeking women's voices, elevating them, and encouraging them as they moved on,
Yes, ma'am.
through that career. It's a cool thing to see, and to
Comes
follow.
from the heart. Comes from a place of love and wanting something you love to reach more people, and grow.
But going back to the actual tone and tenor of the match itself, I was kind of bowled over, and I think I told you guys in our group chat that it looked like I was watching a team like almost like a friendly where you had a big club coming in to play a friendly against some
like a Bayern Munich taking on an Auckland City FC.
Yeah, something along those lines. Wow, that's good shout.
10-0, it's tough.
I do think that this match ultimately, the way I kind of looked at this match though was I thought
the latest one with
the
Georgia
latest
Impact.
one. Since Jennifer started there, we can do that and go back.
Yeah. No, let's do that. Yeah.
So what struck me about this match, right, was it was a relatively close game. There weren't a lot of opportunities really until that first goal happened.
Till Maggie in the 29th,
Yeah. And what's interesting is that it's like with this team, it's not there, but then something happens and the floodgates open.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, they can weather adversity and it may be not quite clicking, but there's an inevitability to them. A very Thanos snap. It's coming at some point. They know they're going to find a way.
And they're doing it with a host of different players coming in and out of the pitch at will because the sub rules are different. Right? Mm-hmm. You can sub at will. You're not limited to 5 subs. You don't have to be so strategic with them. So that's also, they're using a different cast of characters at multiple times and opportunities at the game. Early in the match, they were making subs, and that's what caused everything to kind of change up. It's which is really interesting from a management perspective to watch, because the teams are going to come out with a game plan, right? And then you can make instant adjustments once you have figured out what the other side's game plan is. You can't really do that in first team matches with the limitations and restrictions that you have on subbing. So, I guess becomes more of a checkers match than a chess match per se, because you can be much more responsive and reactive in terms of the tactics that you pull. And
then the other side of that is they still look the same.
Yeah.
Players coming and going, and the shape doesn't change. The tactics don't change. Everybody knows their role. Everybody.
That's what I was going to say. What I think is it actually makes it a little bit more interesting because the other team can also adapt. But at the end of the day, we're seemingly deeper and very well connected. And particularly on the back line, you always see this cohesion, kind of, again, regardless of game state, regardless of what's happening. And it's impressive because you are subbing out 2-3 girls on the back line. You're getting the same consistency of performance, know, and and truly after what we've, all witnessed of late, to get consistency is truly joyful out of a team.
And how. Yep. So in this match, we had first goal was from Maggie Wadsworth, which Coach Chapman's analysis of Maggie being a natural goal scorer. She keeps proving that, right? Puts herself in the right place at the right time always, and she may not finish every chance, but she puts herself in a place to have the opportunity to constantly. So she gets one in the 29th off an assist from Allie Plano. And then Allie just decides to go full beast mode, unassisted, down the left wing. Could have crossed it in. She's like, you know what? I think I got the legs. And just beats her defender, cuts inside on her right, upper 90. Sure.
No chance.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Why not? I mean, my goodness. 39th minute, penalty kick. If we're being fair, a little dubious, but it's not the player's job to call the PK or not. It's the ref, and I think it's pretty harsh, but you take it.
Yeah.
Sydney finishes that one, no problem there. And then Giselle Daniels, unassisted. New signing,
I
gets
was
her first goal
really
for the club,
impressed.
puts the ball past the goalkeeper coming off her line. A little simple chipped ball over the top and finishes it. And those were the 4 goals for the game. All in the first half. The game was pretty much over in quick
I was
succession.
really impressed with Giselle in particular, because I think it really takes presence of mind and innate awareness and understanding of positioning to be able to make the shot select the shot that she selected to take and take the shot.
And to be calm, and here comes the keeper running at you, and just no panic, and do what you need to do, not too much,
Yeah. And I think that's something too that should there. I don't remember who made the play, but it was early in the second half. With one of the few times that Georgia Impact was really threatening, and Decatur FC coughed the ball up, but the player went back after. I think her name starts with a C. I can't remember her last name. She's one of the midfielders.
Probably for our team, probably Emma Chapman, or
no, maybe
the
Collier.
first name C.
Anaya
Collier.
Collier. Yeah, I think it was Collier, where she coughed the ball up and then stayed on it until she turned it back around and then got it into the offensive zone after after a very bad turnover. And when we look at what Brooks Lennon did the other day, by just again the awareness and relentlessness on the ball is really impressive in my mind. Just the calm, cool-headed decision making that
it's almost as if every player, specifically in the attack on this team, has the innate ability to just take things on themselves and go solo, but still they all play as a cohesive unit. It's pretty rare that you have a team composed like entirely of just ballers but are still selfless.
Well, and it's interesting too, because Impact as a club, a lot of those women have been playing together for quite some time. It's a club program with progression, whereas, I don't know that many of the players on Decatur FC have actually been playing together for
not really. A couple of them at their schools.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix. There's a couple of little cohorts from Georgia Southern and Auburn.
Couple from Auburn.
Auburn's just a couple, and Georgia Southern I think has 3. But otherwise, Jen, no, like it is girls that play against each other, may have historically played club ball. I don't know, that, but from LSU, UGA, UAB, several different schools representative. I think Giselle just got here from Troy.
Yep.
Maybe
from Troy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the players may have maybe they played against one another, but they're not necessarily together all the time. And so that is somewhat what makes it so impressive. How
you would expect a team that looks this together to just be day in, day out for the past 6 months, and it's not the case.
But there are some little connections that are pretty magical. Dylan and Sydney play together at Auburn, and we've seen them connect through a few games. And it seems like Maggie has just fallen in with the two of them. And I sort of jokingly, sort of not, came on the pod tonight with Maggie Almiron ? Because we had made a joke about calling her
Miggy
Wadsworth. And while that sounds great, she's more like playing like how I would like Miggy to play than vice versa at this moment. Like what I love about Maggie is that she is not just a goal scorer, that natural that Chapman talked about, but her hold-up play is masterful. She combines with other players. She listens. We heard Smith, talk about how she called Maggie off the ball, and Maggie instinctively just leaves it and gets that goal at the last home game. So it's not entirely a joke on my part that it has been joyful, but also like it is the kind of play that I would love to be seeing right now, and that I think we would like to aspire to from the other Atlanta team. But she's genuinely been an engine for chances, and definitely finished several this season.
There's a lot of aspects about this team that I wish Atlanta United would adopt. Like, Decatur just kind of beats the belief out of their opponents because they just overcome whatever defensive obstacles are in their way. And then they nullify whatever attack you throw at them. I mean, Georgia Impact, once again, like we've seen, most of their chances come from 20 yards plus.
I was just going to ask, did they actually get any chances inside the 18?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Not the Impact.
So in other words, the Impact had the XG of current other Atlanta teams.
Correct. And when they do break inside the 18, goalkeepers have got it too. Like, this team is just so complete.
Genuinely, it's like I've been living two lives, and one is in the upside down, and that's on Atlanta United, and one's where I dreamed and aspired our season to be, watching DecaturFC as they open the floodgates on teams. But then also, I don't know if we're ready for it, but I'd love to talk about the UFA Gunners match, because we saw something
a little bit different there,
kind of unique out of this match, because
Adversity.
the Gunners did cause some problems for Decatur, and did actually get an early chance about 11 minutes in, and put one in. And so we had to fight back from being down early, which has happened maybe only once before to us.
That was the other home match that we were at, where they went down early. So a little adversity there, and they handle it.
They huddle together,
the players about the huddle. They get together. What isn't good enough right now? What do we need to do differently? And then they go and execute on that. Sounds simple, but it's not.
So you see this fight, they collect themselves, and then what I'd like to shout out from this match is around the 45th minute, the Gunners actually do get two legitimate good chances. And the first one is a big save from Badoon, but she goes to ground, blocks the shot. It pops up in an inopportune point. She collects her feet as quick as lightning to get back up just in time for the ball to get volleyed nearly over her head. She gets a fingertip on it to pop it in the air, and then catches it basically on the line over the top of her shoulder, like it was a pass had been planned, and she was just catching it, except a touchdown. It was saving it on the line. It was a beautiful 2-1 save there. And I think that there was a little bit of energy that sparked out of that. And then you see, not that much later after that, maybe around the 48th, we get that set piece chance that is put on a dime, and Giselle heads it home. And so you are feeling good going into halftime that you have momentum on your side, and it's 1-1. And what was even more just impressive about this game is that you come out in the second half, and this team is used to opening the floodgates on people. They are used to, okay, I've gotten my goal now, let me go get 2 or 3 more. And that's not what happened here. And it was very close until in the 53rd minute, we actually go down again. They get another rare chance. This one was more from outside of the box than the earlier one. But what was incredible is this is the 53rd. No problem whatsoever. 55th minute happens, and who do we have but none other than Dylan Driver living up to her name.
There you go.
The ball gets popped up. It is a 50-50. The defender and the keeper are caught between two minds, and Dylan Driver, full on, like that latte lot goal that he made out of nothing, just beats them to the ball, taps it in the back of the net, and 2-2.
You love to
Here
see
we
it.
are.
And you love to see that it's an immediate response, right? Like, it's not, oh, let me hang my head and go crawl with my tail between my legs and let in 3 more goals in quick succession after that. It's not.
They respond immediately.
Yep. They took that energy and they flipped it around and they used it. And man, I wish other people would learn from that example.
And then they had a 30-minute lightning delay. And then they got a goal and won it.
In a 2-2 match, the closest match that, dare I say, they've played all season.
And they find a way. it's just every superlative you want with this team. They're just levels above their
Which
opponents,
is,
and
which is also something that we talked, that we talked about earlier, but like, I know there's a lot of, there is some real discussion about creating a women's second division, because right now, the way that women's football is structured in the US
yeah,
is you have a first, you have a first division, which is the NWSL and the USL Super League, right? And then you have a third division, which is the WPSL and where DecaturFC is. But there's no in the middle that would be the equivalent of USL League One. Well, I'm sorry, that would be the equivalent of USL Championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's not, right now, for comparison, in the men's side, you have MLS, that's your first division. You have USL Championship and MLS Next Pro, that's your second division. And then you have USL League One, and then there's a bunch of other leagues that I can't remember
League
all the names
Two.
of.
Yep.
League Two, and anything else that's below that that's really third or fourth division, right? So the women's game is really just now getting to a place where they have these talent divisions.
You'll
that
have
they
the
can,
Pro League next year, which Georgia Impact will be joining.
yeah. So, we're finally getting some better stratification, because one of the interesting things that I found in doing research for this podcast and whatnot is that there are a lot of NWSL sites, primarily in the West Coast, that are using the WPSL as their development league. So like you've got, I think it's sporting the KC Current 2 out. They have a WPSL team. FC Dallas has a women's side in WPSL. There's even some MLS clubs that have women's sides, and that's where they are from a professional standpoint, which is great to see, because obviously there's hope for continued expansion of top tier women's football to continue to grow, but you need more grassroots developmental league play for that talent curation in order to support more first division sides. So, that's why, going back, like Decatur FC, like, and it's interesting too, considering, they played the UFA Gunners, who I didn't know until Amy mentioned this, that they're affiliated with Arsenal. Like, that's an Arsenal grassroots developmental club here in the state of Georgia.
Yep.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I think that it's really important, especially with the women's game, because traditionally, though it changed, in recent years, NWSL, the players there would be a bit older. You didn't have the young recruits of players coming into academies or something, or playing with the first team at 14. We've seen some exceptions to that now in recent years, but I think that the college game has always been a lot more important to pro development.
Yes.
But it's still limited, and there need to be continued expansion, because I think that women do also kind of mature into the game at a different pace sometimes. Like there's real longevity we've seen out of the women's game, though we're obviously seeing a new crop of players come in at a national team level. So you're right, Jen, like it is exciting to see the development and pathways to try to create something that is, maybe a more sustainable and also larger professional league.
Well, I think it's also going to hopefully keep the United States more relevant on a global scale, because the reason the rest of the world has caught up to where the US is because now you have the big clubs in Europe actually putting equal footing and investment into the women's side academies. So you have that big academy machine going gangbusters over in Europe, and college
absolutely.
development for soccer is not the same thing. I really think in terms of professional sports, the only two sports where college is relevant to academy or minor leagues in terms of, the ability to crank out players at that highest level is American football, hand egg ball, whatever you want to call the NFL, and college basketball. And even college basketball has had to stratify and diversify with the G League and give more athletes a chance to go in and develop, because those kids coming out of colleges aren't always ready.
Totally agree. And now that you have the name, image, likeness deals, I mean, what is the line between these things these days? So, there's a lot of debate there as to, is that truly a college experience still, and where does that go when you start thinking about the money aspects of things? which becomes much similar to, or more similar to, you know, semi-pro or lower league professional play, as opposed to a true college back in my day experience, you know?
Yeah. And it's interesting because it's interesting, to see a club like Decatur FC that's pulling college players from all over the place that are looking for those opportunities, and not just necessarily a continuation of an existing club system, right? I'm not saying it there's a right way or a wrong way. I just think it's an interesting, we're in an interesting dynamic time for the growth of the women's game right now, that we're kind of literally getting to watch it evolve every week here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Currently, nationally, Decatur FC is ranked 9th based on the ELO ranking system, which takes into account your record, goals for and against, location, relative strength of opponent. This does not take into account the past 2 matches. So they could move up a couple more spots and to break into that top 5, even nationally, from a league that has 144,
147, I think.
147 teams.
Something the 140s of teams.
Yeah. So currently in the top 10, it is in the Northeastern Conference, Sporting Connecticut, and then you've got in the Midwest Conference, Heartland Division, Oklahoma City FC. Mountain Conference, Utah Surf. I don't get the name, but sure, Utah, lots of surf there. You betcha.
Snowboarding,
desert surf,
maybe
or do
surfing,
dunes count? Can you?
dunes.
There's
so.
also
Surf.
Sure. Technically a shore at that lake, that dead lake.
Yeah, I don't know how much more it's going to be a lake. We'll see what goes on in the next 10
you
years.
can't-
Anyhow,
You can't really sink in the dead lake, so I don't know how easy. Yeah.
So all of it's surf? Is that how that works?
apparently
Is it
so.
stay on the surface?
FC Premier in the SoCal Conference, California Storm, maybe Utah, you guys switch names. NorCal Conference, they are 5th. PSD Academy in the Mountain Conference again, the Rockies division, they are 6th. Jacksonville Armada FC in the Sunshine Conference, as you might expect down in Florida. Port City FC, the Mid-Atlantic Conference, the Carolinas division, and here comes Decatur FC, the Southeast Conference, the Peachtree Conference at 9.
So do they list anything else with those rankings, like goal differential or wins, or what the sort of difference is? So where do we sit in that points, or however that is considered? Or is it
they need to update it right now? They're saying we're at 14 goals, plus 14 goal differential,
and we had over the last 2 games we
add
scored
another 4 to that,
7-2, so another 5 goal,
16
plus
goal
5 goal differential over the last 2 matches.
God, almost a plus 20 then, round up. Goodness gracious. Should be good for a top 5, I would think. I'm looking at some of these other teams like Jacksonville and PSD Academy.
Just curious, like, what's the goal differential on the number 1 team? Like, I'm just curious.
Let's take a look. Sporting Conference, Sporting Connecticut, hottest team in WPSL. Their top striker has 7 goals. It's not listing the goal differential right now. I'll have to dig a little bit more on that one.
Yeah.
But
for another time.
Their record isn't as good. They're 2-2-0.
So
it's interesting.
What's interesting too is the WPSL also ranks.
Oh no, I'm sorry. They're 5-0. My bad. No, they are 5-0, and they did beat they got their last match 6-1 win, and prior to that, 5-0.
Got it.
Their goal differential is probably pretty good, but so is ours. So we'll see. Let's see what when they update these rankings.
Plus 11 as opposed to a plus 5 in the last. I get it. Maybe their division is overall a little weaker too. I will say that
could be.
I do think that there are a couple of teams in the Southeastern Division that have at least somewhat challenged Decatur.
It does feel like Decatur's playing a step above just about everybody around them. I appreciate Coach Chapman's humble approach at the start of the season when we had that 8-1 drubbing. Well, not everyone's going to be 8 goals. We're not just going to blow by everybody. They kind of have, apart from UFA Gunners away, they kind of really have put people to the sword.
Yeah.
But look, you play who's in front of you, and you deal with whatever conditions are in front of you, and Gunners can come up and sneak up on you, and they just refuse to let that happen. When those moments happen, you still have to, all these teams are good, and you still have to play them. But it would be interesting to see if this team can, take the next step in competition.
Well, listen, if you're somehow listening to this pod and haven't made it out to a game, or if you are among the tens of faithfuls that listen to the pod and want to put a little effort into, dragging all of your friends and family out, you have 2 more opportunities to see Decatur at home this coming Friday at 7 p.m. Remember, it's free parking at the high school. Seriously, no excuses. You can show up at O'Sullivan's starting at 5.
Fish and chips.
Highly recommend. Enjoy a little time on the lawn if the weather is nice. The weather has been lovely. Do not
really worked out well.
It won't be nice. It's been great.
The forecast for Friday is sunny with a high of 88 and a low of 69.
So bring your Clacker fan to make some noise and to keep cool.
And it'll cool off. It'll cool off later in the night. You'll be okay.
If you don't have a Clacker fan, you can acquire one from Terminus Legion to fill your Clacker needs. But anyway, they didn't pay
hopefully
me for that.
Decatur, come on, let's get some Clacker fans.
I was just going to say, calling Curtis Jenkins to design us a DecaturFC Clacker fan.
I'll get right on that. Get him hooked up with the club and make sure that happens.
To the harassment point on Facebook Messenger.
You betcha. Kickoff's at 7. Just like always.
Come on out. Bring anybody that you know that might just enjoy having a nice evening out in the weather with your family to watch what has been incredibly entertaining soccer from
bring your kids
players
too.
that are really dedicated.
Bring the kids. They get to go on the pitch at halftime and kick a ball around. They get to meet these players and talk with them and have them sign their match day cards. All this fun stuff.
And the kids were full on bringing the vibes the last match. Shout out to the kids that were making their own cheering section and went for what felt like a full on just 15 minutes. They are definitely building up their stamina to go for 90 one of these days.
Capos in training. Watch it happen. It's a really good time, y'all. You need to come out for this. And if for some reason you can't make it out this Friday, which again, it's against the Georgia Impact, so little quick turnaround there for a little rematch against them.
Little extra spice to make it nice.
That's right. Do try to make it out then. If you can only make it out for one, which we get, schedules happen, life happens, totally understand. Do come out for the 27th. Last match, it is against Chattanooga. Should be a really good match, and we are trying to push past that 3,000 attendance number. We've hit 2,600 and a little bit above that. They have the ambitious goal of hitting 3,000. And honestly, I don't think it's that ambitious. We can do this.
It's only 300 more of you. So if the 12 people that listen to this podcast each tell 2 people, and then
they tell 2 people.
Those people tell 2 people, and then maybe we go 4 degrees of separation from the 12 people that listen to this podcast. We can do this because we are Soccer City, USA. And what we saw today at the Benz was no indication of this city's fervor for soccer. Just saying.
Well, when you schedule a match at 3:00 on a Monday.
And price it at astronomical prices, thinking that we're just going to cough up whatever ungodly sum.
Yeah, I mean,
it dictates. I'm sorry.
Who in their right mind would take off on a Monday and pay ridiculous prices to go see a club they love?
Well,
I might have done it. I might have been there. I might have been there. I might have given my FIFA my money. I might have done it.
If you're a supporter of an EPL team that you have very rare opportunities to actually see in your backyard, I 100% get it.
I will say,
I don't have that kind of affiliation with
Right.
this,
No,
and
I
so
get
it's
you.
easier for me to say
Yeah.
that's ridiculous,
Yeah.
because I'm all about the experience and
I
seeing
will
it
say
and the
this.
hype, and I was there until
I've been fortunate enough to see Chelsea stateside a few times now. This is the first time I've got to see them win live competitive match, or otherwise they've never won.
Oh yeah, that's right.
what
They've
was the
never
scoreline
won.
on that?
They've never won any time when I've driven down to Florida to see them, wherever. Chapel Hill, they've never won. Finally, finally, we got a win against LAFC.
If you guys
It
aren't
was so
watching
fun.
this feed, you're seeing some big Glenn smiles
It was
right now
fun,
with
man. It was nice to see him
this
win.
Chelsea
No,
win.
Hey,
I really am happy for you because from what I heard, LAFC gave them a pretty big fight, and it did not
mm,
go. Did they made it competitive,
no,
much more competitive than I think? No, no,
no, not really.
no.
They had it was kind of like direct balls over the top. They really didn't get anything going
Okay.
until Olivier Giroud. I miss
But
him.
it's only
Came on.
2-0. It's not
Yeah,
10
no,
nil.
they held their own. It wasn't 10. They respectable. And hey, shout out to the 3252. I
And
know we're
it
getting off course here, Decatur
yeah.
Pod, but shout out to those people for traveling to Atlanta, for providing atmosphere and noise. They were louder than the Chelsea fans for the entire time. They were just as loud as those kids at DecaturFC. And they kept the chants going the entire time. And they always provide really good support for their club, which I love to see. And that was fun. And yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. I was happy. I was happy for it. But it's much more accessible to come to Decatur FC. It's much cheaper. Tickets are only $10.
Yeah.
Kids are even less than that. And they always do all sorts of promo nights where kids are getting in free and they're giving away stuff. And this team, this club loves the city. They love what they're doing. They love the game, and all they want to do is give back to something that's given them so much, and that's so clearly evident from top down, from the owner to the manager to the coach to the players. Everybody loves this, and I just love the brand of football that they play. That's exciting, that's unburdened, despite these girls knowing that they're all here playing for future opportunities. That's a lot of weight. It's a lot of expectation to have to deal with, and we live in an age now where this stuff is streamed on YouTube. Anybody can watch it. Any
What are
scout,
the
any club in the
as
world.
another reminder of the community impact that they're having? This Wednesday is another one of their, what do they call these?
Yeah, little
The
soccer
Wednesday
clinics they
night
have at East
lights,
Lake.
the little
Wednesday
soccer
night
clinics.
lights.
You do have to register for them, but you can follow them on Insta, send them a DM, or go through the website. They may still have space for this Wednesday at East Lake, but it's
And
a
you'll
great
have one
program to
more
just.
next week as well, and then that's it at East Lake, both of those nights. And
Not
they've
gonna
had like
lie, gonna be
40
a little bit
kids.
sad when that's done.
They've had like 40 kids each night show up
Mhm.
I mean,
each
that's
time
great.
for this. So good on you. If you've been out there, great. Take advantage of these opportunities. The club is trying to provide that. This is what it is, and people taking advantage of those opportunities is proof of concept that this stuff works and that people want this product and want to be involved and take advantage of things. It's all cyclical. I mean, it all supports each other. It's a really good thing. Alrighty. I think that about does it for both these matches. Anything else?
I am still looking forward to getting out there on Friday. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be your first one for this season.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited to check it out in person. And kind of sad that I missed the home opener because I heard it was a gas. I heard it was a gas, and
That was great. And all the players are really accessible. They all speak so well. Such good soccer IQ. Like they all know the game and see the game so well and can speak about all these little moments that we pick out. And they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember when that
Yeah.
happened in the 73rd
The
minute. Yeah. We tell you
interviews
all about it.
have been great, and every time we've done different players, and all of them have been excellent. So that's been
Just really,
a
really
real
impressed
joy
with the
too.
level of professionalism that all these women carry themselves with. It's good. Y'all got to come out for it. And that, again, is this Friday and next Friday at Decatur High School, 7 p.m. kick. Pre-match starts a little bit earlier, like at 5 outside O'Sullivan's, and then the march down to the stadium, drums and all, 6:15, right around there is when it gets going. And then hang out afterwards because the players make themselves available. They run inside, they get a little bit of food, pizza and bananas. They come out and they meet all the kids, sign everything, and talk to us. And it's great, man. It's just feel good vibes FC. We love it. All right, y'all. Thank you very much for listening and supporting this team and lower league women's football and sports in general, wherever that may be for you. If it's not Decatur, if it's Impact or wherever else, support that and keep supporting each other. It's really, really important thing to do. We will be back this Saturday with another pod on Georgia Impact. Again, 7:00 at Decatur High School. All right, y'all. Thank you very much. We'll see you later in Decatur.
Till then, be brave, be bold.
For the black and gold.